Hi guys, and welcome back to another Tech Minds video. So here we have the latest radio from Quansheng. Now this is the UV-K1, and this is the successor to the very popular UV-K5, also from Quansheng. So why was the UV-K5 so popular? Well, that was because of the ability to create custom firmware and hardware modifications. Essentially, the community was able to create their own features and incorporate them into a half-decent radio. Now the K1 comes in two models, the base model with a plastic front and the 8 model, which is this one, and this has a metallic front. You get all the usual bits and pieces in the box, but mine actually came with two batteries. It came with a desktop charger and it's mains powered. It also came with a larger high-capacity battery, which has a rating of 2500 mAh, and this battery can be charged via a USB-C socket that's actually located on the bottom. Of course, it can also be recharged in the supplied desktop charger, separately from the radio. Now the smaller, lower capacity battery, which has a rating of 1400 mAh, although similar, it doesn't have a USB-C socket for charging. You can either charge it while it's in the radio or use the desktop charger. So this radio has been branded the Mini Kong by Quansheng, and to be fair, it has a rather premium quality feel to it. The serial number sticker also displays an FCC ID. So does this mean that this radio will meet FCC requirements when it comes to spurious emissions testing? Of course, we will test that later in the video. So this is a VHF and UHF transceiver covering the 2 meter and 70 centimeter handbands. Transmission output is rated at 5 watts per band, but reception-wise, there's no HF receiver on this model, but it can go down to 50 MHz and up to 76 MHz on one particular band, which essentially covers the 6 and 4 meter bands. However, it is receive only. Now down the right side, we have a USB-C socket, which can be used for charging and programming. No special cables are required to program this radio, and boy, do we notice the speed difference when we actually start using the software. But there is also a Kenwood style speaker mic for those of you that like to use speaker mics or earpieces. The left side has one PTT and 2 user programmable function buttons. For all of those flashlight lovers, you'll be pleased to know there's an LED on the top, along with the antenna connection and volume on and off rotary control. Now the antenna that comes with this radio is fairly small and chunky, and it's only around 4 inches long. Now attaching that larger battery just by sliding it up the back, you can see that it does look and feel fairly beefy, with that extra plastic from the battery protruding underneath the actual radio itself. Now if we remove this larger battery and attach the smaller battery, we start to get more in the realm of the Yaesu FT3D size, which is actually kind of a little bit more comfortable. Now with the larger battery placed side by side, you can really see the difference the high capacity battery actually makes. It's literally larger than the radio itself. Now powering on the radio, we have a fairly standard display in terms of colours. Well, there are none to be precise, but it is that kind of dot matrix style display, meaning when it comes to custom firmware later down the road, more things can be added neatly and fitted into the screen. Dual VFO with dual watch is supported, but again only one at a time. Now the menu does not really hold any major changes compared to what we've seen before, but everything is there to program the radio. Of course, I always turn off beeps and voice prompts, but they are still there for those of you that need these features. One thing that I find absolutely annoying, which I think the K5 had the same issue with without custom firmware, and that's that the display backlight can only be set to illuminate for a maximum of 5 seconds. Now there's no way to ensure the backlight is permanently on unless I missed a setting somewhere, but I do think it's quite strange. Personally, I like to leave the backlight on all the time, although it does light when there's some activity, like it receives a station, or if you've pressed a button. Again, only for 5 seconds. So my thoughts so far are that I think this could be a nice little radio, and I'm actually kind of digging the size and the feel of it. Airband reception is also possible, so let's take a listen. Now please excuse the lighting here. My normal studio lights I use for filming seem to have an effect on the AM airband.
100, Charlie Alpha Sierra, descend to altitude 5,000 feet.
Down to altitude 5,000 feet, Charlie Alpha Sierra.
ETA to X-ray Mike, Gatwick 16825, bye-bye. 126.825, ETA to X-ray Mike.
Well, that's not bad at all, in my opinion, especially compared to some others we've tested in the past. Now, listening to the ham bands, specifically 70 centimeters here, the audio output sounds quite nice from that internal speaker, which incidentally is actually located behind that numeric keypad.
The meshtastic down here is pretty good, actually. There was one chap, he's very, very well placed, and he's basically allowed us to get out of the town, and we've now got a backbone which covers from Cheltenham.
Okay, so let's take a listen to hear what the transmitted audio sounds like. And for this, I'll use my SDR receiver and SDR Uno software to capture the recording.
SEM0DQW testing the transmitted audio on the Quansheng K1. SEM0DQW testing the transmission audio quality on the Quansheng UV-K1. M0DQW over.
So next we'll test the power output, and with the radio set to high power, we can see that on the 70 centimeter band it's a smidge over 5 watts. Now if we jump down to the 2 meter band, we can see an output of around 4.5 watts. So not too bad compared to the advertised specifications. Now spurious emissions, well, check this out. The 2 meter band appears to look very nice indeed. And if you're wondering, I have the radio on full power and a 60 dB attenuator in line between the radio and my tiny SA Ultra. Now the radio can actually transmit on the 1.25 meter band, and the only real test I can perform here is the spurious emissions, as we do not have that band here in the UK. Spurious emissions, I would say, are not exactly legal, but they're not as bad as I would have expected, especially if this radio hasn't got filters designed for that band. Moving up to this 70 centimeter band, and well, this is exactly what we want to see. No harmonics visibly showing above the noise floor, my tiny SA Ultra is receiving. As mentioned at the start of the video, this can be programmed via that USB-C socket located on the right side of the radio. No special cable is required. You can just use a standard data cable. The speed at which it reads and writes is incredibly fast. It's almost like it didn't actually work, but it does. So I was quite surprised when using this software. Hopefully soon though, we'll see some chirp support to make life easier when it comes to programming repeaters. Now if you're wondering about the status of any custom firmware, at the time of making this video, there's no custom firmware versions available, but it does appear that they're being worked on. What those custom firmwares will bring to the K1 in terms of features or enhancements, we do not know yet, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. If and when new custom firmware is released, and I think that they'll be worth showing, I will make another video on the K1. Now if you've made it this far into the video and you're thinking to yourself, why do we need another 270 handheld? Well, in reality, we probably don't. But with technology improving and the fact that part of the ham radio hobby is design and innovation, the K1 brings a new opportunity for those creative firmware guys to make some cool changes. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway guys, that's the Quansheng UV-K1. Let me know what you thought about this radio down in the comments. Try and keep it positive guys. After all, if no one was making radios, it'd be quite boring. Until the next video, take care of yourselves and I'll see you in the next one.